Hey everybody, it's Andy from Andy's Travel Blog here with a quick rant. And the reason I'm doing this quick rant is that I saw a piece of news that was absolutely preposterous and I just think it needs to be addressed. Okay, so this is nothing serious compared to anything that's been happening in the world recently, but I did want to make sure I talked about it because it's kind of ridiculous. Gary Leff from View from the Wing and a lot of other people have talked about this, but it's my turn to weigh in. There was an article that came out in Bloomberg about a lady who claims to be this like wizard of flying up front for free and never paying for first class upgrades and all this stuff. And then you read the tip that she gives. And the tip that she gives is something like this. Whenever you're trying to get an award seat, call into the desk and ask to talk to revenue management. Because surely, right, so revenue management, just so you know, revenue management is the department of an airline that's in charge of basically making sure that you're optimizing the amount of money that you're making per flight, right? So if you have a flight to New York City that leaves at 6 p.m. on a Sunday night from Dallas, you need to make sure to charge more for that flight because odds are it's consultants that are going to be on that flight. Same thing for flights back Thursday night or Friday night. That's when your business people are traveling. So those flights are going to cost more. It's in charge of the revenue management department to optimize that mix of tickets. So it's not just a coach ticket. It's a coach ticket that's refundable that you can buy with a 3-day minimum purchase. And they have all these little like codes and fare buckets is what I call them to optimize. So the revenue management department is in charge of that. And they actually have like supercomputers to help them do that, to get all the algorithms right. And a lot of this is managed programmatically. What this lady is claiming is that if you call the revenue management department of an airline, of the world's largest airline, like American Airlines, for example, that they're going to throw all of that analysis aside simply because a customer called revenue management. Let me give you a sneak preview. That will never work, okay? I have a good metaphor for this. So I don't know if many of you know this. I used to work in the car business. I used to sell cars for a living. So when I was out of college, or after I graduated college, I went and got a job with a very prestigious car dealership in the Dallas area and sold Hummers, Saabs, and Cadillacs for about 3 years before I got into the full-time job that I have now. And I compare this to the car business because airline pricing is kind of a mystery. Car pricing is kind of a mystery as well. I can do a whole set of other videos about the car business and what it's really like and all that stuff. But surmise it to say, car dealers don't make as much as you think they do off of a car. It's typically if they can clear like 3 or 4% on a new, or 5 or 6% on a new car, that's a pretty good deal. Anyways, there's a fascination in the car business with invoice pricing. Okay, so long story long. You have the invoice price that a dealer pays for a car. Then you have other things like holdback and marketing incentives that the dealer also has to pay. And then you have the MSRP, which is clearly stated on what's called a Monroney label now. And there's the negotiation, right? How much off of MSRP are you going to get before incentives, right? So if there's like rebates or dealer cash or something like that. And a lot of people would use the phrase invoice price like it was like a magic incantation or a spell or something like that. And I remember specifically, I was selling Cadillacs when the newest version, or sorry, the second most recent version of the Cadillac CTS came out. And we were having trouble keeping them. We were having trouble finding stock. We were buying them from other dealers just so we could sell them because they were in such high demand. So I had a guy come in and talk to me and said, hey, you know, I really like this car. I like this option set. So, you know, show me your price. You know, what do the numbers look like? So ran it, gave him a kind of a deal, but it was a high priced car. I mean, they were selling for close to MSRP. And so I showed him the number, and I didn't really play any games. I was just wrote the number down and pointed at it and said, that's what you can buy the car for. And he said, well, I know the invoice price of the vehicle. And he sat back all confidently, you know, acting like it's because he had said invoice price, well, I had to sell him the car for that. Well, I mean, I told him like, listen, sir, I know the invoice price as well. I can see it on here. But here's what you can buy the car for. So it's kind of the same thing as this ridiculous hypothesis from this Bloomberg person who claims this works for her every single time, is that all she has to do is call revenue management and they're going to throw all of the analysis, all the research that they've done out the window just to make sure that she gets an award ticket space opened up. That's ridiculous. If you want to know how to get upgrades, I'll tell you, okay? It's a very simple system that Casey Neistat did a video about back when he flew American Airlines, and I'll post a link to that below. It's not quite as applicable as it was back when he made it. But here's, if you want to know how to ride up front for free, here's this very simple trick. Fly a lot and spend a lot of money with the airlines. Then you'll be sitting up front, usually you'll get upgrades for free. But when I say fly a lot, I mean fly 100,000 qualifying miles with American Airlines and spend 12,000 qualifying dollars with American Airlines, and there's still a chance you won't get upgraded. I haven't been upgraded on a single flight this year after flying 120,000 miles last year and spending about $14,000 with American Airlines. So be really careful what you believe in the media. Everybody's going to tell you that there's this really simple trick to flying up front for free, or like there was a media inquiry I just got for tips for finding first class fares that sell for cheaper than coach fares. Well, you're just not going to find it that often, okay? So this is, like I said, it's a quick rant. It turned into a longer rant than I thought, but I just wanted to make sure that it was addressed because that's a ridiculous hypothesis. Don't waste revenue management's time. Likely you won't be able to talk to them anyway, and they're not going to open up an award seat for you or an upgrade seat for you simply because you cast the spell or you say the magic words revenue management. That's completely ridiculous. So, this is Andy from Andy's Travel Blog being slightly less ridiculous. We'll see you next time. Take care.